Priya Bahal, Assistant Professor in Chemical Engineering Department at LJ Institute of Engineering and Technology. The subject that we are going to continue is petroleum refining and petrochemicals. So moving forward with this lecture, we will study about the treatment methods of kerosene. This chapter number 4, is based on your treatment techniques. Okay, this comes in the part of your secondary treatment which you do for all the fractions. Right after separation, okay, after distillation, when you have separated your crude into various fractions, now we are talking about the secondary treatment which is required for all the specific fractions. Okay, so in last lecture we studied about treatment techniques of gasoline. Okay, how sulfur remover, sweetening of gasoline. Okay, we studied about 3 techniques: lead plumbite method, that is also called as lead doctoring method, then Merox sweetening process, and catalytic desulfurization. Okay, these methods are concerned with removal of sulfur. This is not the case of kerosene. Here treated kerosene means you have to deal with sulfur removal and aromatic removal also. Okay, so here we are more concerned about the aromatic removal. Why? See, high aromatic content in kerosene, that gives you high smoke formation. Okay, and your smoke formation, that is measured by what parameter? That is by smoke point. Okay, so here the treatment, what does it result into? To improve the smoke point of your kerosene, but you also have to retain the illuminant characteristics. Okay, here naphthenes are the source which improve the illuminant characteristics. So when you are removing the aromatic content, but you have to keep in mind that you have to also retain the naphthalene in it. So sulfur removal plus your aromatic removal, that is the final treatment of your kerosene. Now we are focusing on the aromatic removal of kerosene here in this topic. So the method is what? You are doing the extraction by liquid sulfur dioxide process. It is also known as eddy Leyland process. Okay, in this process 90 to 95% of aromatics is removed, which elevates the smoke point by 10 to 15 units. See, high smoke point is desired here. Okay, so here other important point of this process is that loss of solvent is less. So your solvent is what? It is liquid sulfur dioxide. The operating condition is very simple, that you're keeping your temperature below the critical temperature of your sulfur dioxide, but you are increasing the pressure beyond its critical pressure. Okay, so a series of evaporation system is there for the recovery of solvent. So here note down, whenever we are discussing about carrying out this way extraction process, right, with your main process of extraction, in hand works your recovery process. So see, your solvent recovery is the important step over here. Okay, so for that, series of evaporation system is there so as to recover as much as solvent possible, which is again recycled and reused. So let's start. This is your flow diagram of your method. Okay, so storage tank of sulfur dioxide is there. Clear? The first step is that in your deaerator, your kerosene is first of all deaered. Okay, any moisture content which is present, that is taken off. It is then heated in a heat exchanger and then sent to the extractor. So let's move with it. The charged stock is first of all deaerated under vacuum for moisture removal, where your calcium chloride is also used as a adsorbent. Clear? Now, so here you can see that in deaerator, that is the methodology. Then the feed is chilled up to -8 degrees Celsius and is then sent to counter current extractor, where liquid sulfur dioxide acts as solvent. So now you are cooling your feedstock in heat exchanger, right, up to -8 degrees Celsius. So you are cooling your kerosene up to -8 degrees Celsius, which is then sent to extractor. Here counter current extraction occurs. Okay, you are supplying your liquid sulfur dioxide into the extractor in a counter current fashion, right? Now the raffinate phase is aromatic free oil, which is then sent to series of evaporator for recovery system. So you can see your top product is what? Your raffinate phase, whereas in your bottom you get your extract phase. Sulfur dioxide is heavy in nature, hence you get that in bottom. So your raffinate phase, what does it comprise of? It is aromatic free oil. Okay, so you can say that your extract contains sulfur dioxide as solvent plus the aromatic content. Okay, now let's talk about the evaporation system, how it works. So see, this is a series of evaporators. Okay, E1, E2, E3, these are the 3 series of my evaporator which work in the fashion of reducing pressure. Okay, so pressure reduces in the consecutive evaporators, right? So let's see. The pressure in first evaporator is above critical pressure. So your pressure is how much? The range 6 to 15 atm, but below the critical temperature. Okay, so here we saw pressure is more than critical pressure. So that is for your first evaporator. Clear? Then the second pressure operates at 1 atm, whereas your third evaporator operates under vacuum. So now the vapors of liquid of sulfur dioxide leaves the system. Okay, so see, the reason is what? This is your recovery process, right? Your raffinate phase has oil and liquid sulfur dioxide. This three evaporators in series, it acts as a distillation column itself. Okay, high pressure to low pressure region you are going. Okay, so in even okay, in first evaporator, as your pressure is greater than critical pressure, your sulfur dioxide will remain in liquid phase, but your kerosene, it will vaporize. So you can see that more and more vaporization of oil is taking place. Okay, kerosene is taking place. Similarly, in E2, as pressure reduces, okay, so from E1 you have taken out as much as possible kerosene, okay, in the form of vapors. Now in E2 you are reducing the pressure, so little bit vaporization of sulfur dioxide will also start. Here also amount of little bit traces of kerosene are taken out. Lastly, in E3, okay, last evaporator, you are conducting it in your vacuum. So any of the little bit amount of traces of kerosene are again taken out. Okay, now your now the solvent, okay, liquid sulfur dioxide, which is leaving the E3 evaporator, now it is in your vapor phase. So as it is in vapor phase, now again it has to be compressed. Okay, so what your compressor does, it compresses again, right, and then passing it to series of heat exchangers. Okay, it is cooled down using cooling water here, and then it is liquefied and stored into the storage tank. Okay, now the recovery of solvent from extract phase follows the same process. Again you can see that your extract phase, it is going again to the series of evaporators E1, E2, E3. Okay, pressure condition is again same, but here you are extracting what? Aromatics, whereas the sulfur dioxide, okay, the solvent, it is sent to the compressor. So you are getting sulfur dioxide from raffinate and extract phase both, and they are further liquefied using a series of heat exchanger and sent to the storage tank. Okay, so the temperature which is reduced is up to minus 10 degrees Celsius. So you can say that the temperature of a liquid sulfur dioxide which is used as a solvent, okay, its temperature is about minus 10 degrees Celsius. So this way you carrying out your extraction process of aromatics in the kerosene. Next topic is now dehydration of gases. So dehydration of gas means what? Removal of moisture content. In the previous lectures, right, in the starting chapters also we studied that moisture, the main problem of moisture is that it enhances the corrosion problem. Okay, so your removal of moisture is very important. Now the dehydration of natural gas and certain light fractions is done by passing it through absorbers containing ethylene glycol. So here this process is what? Absorption, where you are using ethylene glycol as your absorbent, okay, which absorbs the moisture in it. Now its efficiency can also be increased when it is mixed with ethanol amine, right, because it acts as the best dehydrating agent. So this was about your dehydration of gas. What are the important dehydrating agents you have to remember? That ethylene glycol and ethanol amine. The next topic is your sweetening of gases. Okay, sweetening of gas, what is sweetening? Removal of sulfur is known as sweetening. So in gases also sulfur is present as the impurity. It is mainly present in form of hydrogen sulfide gas. Okay, so when we are talking about gas, your impurity of sulfur is hydrogen sulfide. So there are two methods for sweetening of gas. First is ethanol amine treatment. Second is Stratford operation. Here you are concerned with the ethanol amine treatment. See, ethanol amine is one of the best solvent which is used for absorption purpose. Okay, the efficient, the affinity of most of the like sulfur, hydrogen sulfide, water, its affinity is large towards ethanol amine. Hence, it is the best solvent which is used for absorption. So the principle is simple about this treatment, that you have to carry out your absorption. Now note down, recall about the absorption process. Absorption occurs in the favorable conditions of low temperature and high pressure. So thus you can relate your flow diagram that first of all you have to compress your gas up to 10 to 15 atm. Okay, it is very high pressure, and then you have to cool it to cooling water. So high pressure and low temperature. Thus you have created a favorable condition of absorption. Okay. This causes high amount of absorption. Okay. Now what you are using as absorbent, ethanolamine is used. The concentration is what? About 30% in water. Okay. So it is 30% ethanolamine and 70% is your water solution. It is fed from the top of absorber. Thus you can say that your tower operates in counter current fashion. Right. Undesired gases like hydrogen sulfide, carbon dioxide, all these gases, right, they are absorbed here. So in your ethanolamine you have these dissolved gases. Okay, this was the process of absorption. Now see, you have to recover your solvent. As I told you, when we are talking about extraction absorption process, with your main process your recovery goes side by side. Okay, now this solvent is sent for recovery. Okay, so they are sent to the stripper. Now recall your stripping operation favorable condition. Reverse of absorption, low pressure and high temperature. Hence, so what you are doing, first of all you are sending it to flash trim where your pressure is reduced, and then you are carrying out your stripping at the operating condition, operating temperature of 105 to 120 degrees Celsius. So this way these gases are stripped off and you can reuse your solvent. So the flow diagram is very simple. First of all, compression up to 10 to 15 atmosphere and then cooling. Okay, so you have created a favorable condition for absorption, then you are sending it to absorber. So you can see the operating temperature is very less, approximately 30 degrees Celsius. So now from the top you are getting your sweet gas, that is here your sour gas like H2S, mercaptans and any carbon dioxide, all these gases have been taken out into the solvent, ethanolamine. So from your bottom now it is sent to the flash column. Flash, what happens? Pressure is reduced. Okay, pressure reduction means traces of these gases have been taken out from your solvent. Okay, flash gas is what? These impurity gas which are taken out from your solvent. It is then again sent to the stripper. Okay, you can see heating is done first of all. So in stripper, as you are operating at high temperature, more removal of stripping of these gases are taking place. So you can see from the top you get your acid of gas, means this all impurity gas which you are taking out, which you are sending it further into sulfur recovery and other processes. And from the bottom you get your solvent which is again recycled back to the absorber. Clear? So this was about your ethanolamine treatment for the sweetening of gas. So that was for today's lecture. Thank you.